Most people, even those who are not linguistic experts or translation professionals, know that there are thousands of languages in the world.
7,117 languages, according to Ethnologue. A lot of people still make a very common mistake of assuming that each country has one language, or even a main language. The natural assumption is always to look for uniformity, but the numbers simply don't match.
Obviously, some countries must speak more than one or even a handful of languages. And today we are going to talk about the country with the highest level of language diversity in the whole world. Can you guess the country? It's Papua New Guinea.
The independent state of Papua New Guinea, located in Oceania, is one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. The state, which forms the eastern half of New Guinea, is connected to the provinces of West Papua and Papua of Indonesia. It's home to about 8.1 million people, according to the preliminary census done in 2016.
As one of the world's most rural countries, only about 18% of the population is located in the urban centers of the independent state. And one of the distinguishing characteristics of the state is its linguistic diversity.
The official languages of the country all reflect its colonial history. The eastern half of the island of New Guinea, second largest in the world, was divided between Germany, north, and the UK, south, in 1885. The latter area was transferred to Australia in 1902, which occupied the northern portion during World War I and continued to administer the combined areas until independence in 1975. A 9-year secessionist revolt on the island of Bougainville ended in 1997, after claiming some 20,000 lives. Since 2001, Bougainville has experienced autonomy. A referendum asking the population if they would like independence or greater self-rule occurred in November 2019, with almost 98% of voters choosing independence.
Papua New Guinea lies off the coast of Australia.
The western part of the island belongs to Indonesia, and other islands to the east like New Britain, New Ireland, Manus, and the Little Milne Bay archipelago to the south complete the country. Papua New Guinea is about the same size as Spain or California in the US.
It's known to have more than 850 living languages, although 12 of them have no known living speakers. Thus, Papua New Guinea holds a record for the country with the highest level of language diversity in the world. And there are several reasons for this incredible linguistic diversity.
As it happens often in history, isolation plays a big part. Papua New Guinea sports a lot of natural divisions, and this has created natural barriers isolating communities from each other.
Many of the inhabitants live in their own communities, and the communities in Papua New Guinea are also known to be quite diverse.
The state, up until now, has not been fully explored, geographically and culturally. So many more people have no contact with the outside world, and like the communities and the languages, it's believed that many more species of animals and plants in the interior of Papua New Guinea are still undiscovered.
The country is also part of the larger community of Polynesian countries that spread very far and wide across the oceans, meaning that languages evolved in isolation after stemming from a unified source.
Being an Australian colony for some time meant that an Indo-European language like English was introduced, and that the language was used as a common language between several communities, just like in India.
As I mentioned before, it's the most linguistically diverse country in the world. The number of languages in Papua New Guinea represents 12% of the total languages in the world. According to Ethnologue, 853 languages are listed for the state. Papuan indigenous languages are classified into two major groups: the Papuan languages and the Austronesian languages.
The big number of Papuan languages is used in various islands in and around New Guinea. Some of the areas include Alor Archipelago, Timor, Halmahera, Solomon Islands, Bougainville Island, and Bismarck Archipelago. Mary Mer, a Papuan language, is spoken in the eastern part of the Torres Strait in Australia.
The Papuan languages spoken in East Timor enjoy official recognition. The Austronesian languages are widely spoken in the islands in the South Pacific, Madagascar, and Southeast Asia.
Included in the Austronesian languages are Filipino, Javanese, and Malay. Hiri Motu is an Austronesian language belonging to the group that also includes Filipino, Fijian, Gilbertese, Formosan, Malay, Malagasy, Maori, Tuvaluan, Tetum, Samoan, Tongan, Palawan, Nauruan, and Marshallese, which have official status in sovereign countries.
When it became independent, the government of Papua New Guinea chose 3 languages for official use:
English, Tok Pisin, Creole, and Hiri Motu, simplified form of the Austronesian language Motu.
Despite the official languages, the other languages were not nullified. Speakers were allowed to use their own languages. There are languages that are spoken by thousands of people, while others only have dozens of speakers.
Of the 4 official languages, Tok Pisin is the most frequently used language for business and government activities. At least 2 official languages are used in most of the institutions around the country.
The official languages are used to promote unity and enhance communication in the country. English is one of the official languages spoken in the country.
However, it's spoken by about 100,000 people, or 1–2% of the population. English was introduced into the country as part of the Indo-European language by the Australians, who colonized it for some time.
English is mainly spoken by migrants and expatriates working in the country. Most of the government communications and publications are often made in English.
English is also the main language in the education system. The English language has evolved over time to form some of the most popular languages in the country, including Tok Pisin and Hiri Motu languages.
German is a recognized language in the country.
For most of the time when the German Empire existed, which was the first unified German nation-state in history, the northern half of the present-day country was a German colony known as German New Guinea.
There is a degree of German cultural influence in the north part of the country today that has existed from those times.
Rabaul Creole German, or Unser Deutsch, still manages to survive, although the number of native speakers is now down to 100. It's a German-based Creole language spoken mainly in East New Britain province.
It's the only Creole language that has developed from Colonial German.
The lexicon is derived from German, while the substrate language is Tok Pisin.
The original speakers were children who were living in a German orphanage, using German words mixed with the grammar of Tok Pisin. By the way, it's the language I'm going to describe next. Most of the speakers of Unser Deutsch now live in Australia.
From a pidgin language used by 19th century traders, Tok Pisin translates to Tok Pigeon, evolved into a Creole with English as its base, mixed with Portuguese, German, and other languages native to the state.
It's the most widely spoken language in the country. About 5 million people can use Tok Pisin to some extent, although not all speak it fluently.
One Tok, a local newspaper, is published exclusively in Tok Pisin. Its success stems from its easy vocabulary. However, this popularity is detrimental to the growth of the other languages. A few dozen languages are already gone. Ancient languages are at risk of extinction as a modern language in Papua New Guinea takes over. Hiri Motu is also among the officially recognized languages of Papua New Guinea and a simplified version of Motu. The language is subdivided into two dialects, Austronesian and Papuan.
Papuan language was used as a standard for official publication from 1964 and was widely spoken during the heyday.
While Hiri Motu is also an official language, very few speak it as their first language.
About 120,000 people speak Hiri Motu as their second language. It was a lingua franca in the 1970s, but was gradually taken over by Tok Pisin and English.
Although it originated from Motu, speakers of Hiri Motu do not necessarily understand Motu and vice versa.
In addition to the official languages, there are more than 800 distinct indigenous languages, belonging to two radically different language groups. Austronesian, to which the languages classified as Melanesian belong, and non-Austronesian or Papuan. Amid such a multiplicity of tongues, Tok Pisin serves as an effective lingua franca.
The Papuan languages are the oldest group among the hundreds of languages. The first human settlers introduced languages to the area some 400,000 years ago.
Although they were placed under the umbrella of Papuan languages, they don't have similar roots. The languages were divided into different families that are not related, and most of them are actually language isolates.
About 3,500 years ago, the Austronesian languages were introduced to the state.
It's probable that only one Taiwanese source was the origin of these languages. Among the hundreds of indigenous Papuan languages, Enga is the most widely spoken.
It's also called Tsaga, Chaga, or Taga, and has about 230,000 total speakers. Enga is followed by Huli with 150,000 speakers and Melpa, which is spoken by 130,000 Papuans.
A number of indigenous Papuan languages have less than 1,000 speakers, and there are other languages that are spoken by less than 100 people. The tiny languages don't have a chance of survival, with some of them already extremely endangered, while a few are already extinct. Outside Papua New Guinea, Papuan languages that are also spoken include the languages of Indonesia, East Timor, and the Solomon Islands.
The Austronesian languages are widely spread across the globe, as far west as Malagasy in Madagascar, as far east as Rapa Nui in Easter Island, and as far north as the Formosan languages of Taiwan.
Austronesian has several primary branches, all but one of which are found exclusively on Taiwan. And that's all what I wanted to tell you about the languages of Papua New Guinea. I hope you liked the video and you learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe. If you are not subscribed, you can share the video with your friends, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye!